Well, I've just got back from a shopping mall, and it was extremely crowded at the shopping mall, more crowded than it is at usual for this time of year. Now school has, for all the little brats, got out 2 weeks ago, and generally the first week after school has gotten out, you will see all the parents wandering around shopping malls with their whining, sniveling, screaming little brats. But usually during the second week after school's got out, you don't see that, because the parents have taken their obnoxious little brats and gone away on holidays. But of course this year it seems to be shopping malls full of parents with screaming, whining, obnoxious little brats. I suppose the reason for this is due to the high price of gasoline. People can no longer afford to go on holidays thanks to the high price of gasoline. And why is the price of gasoline so high? Well, of course, because the price of oil is so high. Now this becomes, of course, the $1 million or the $400 a gallon question. Why is the price of oil so high? People like to blame it on India and China, because India and China, according to the white imperialist racists, actually have the nerve to start developing. And of course, according to the white imperialist races, it's because of India and China that the price of oil is rising so high. Well, this isn't true. There's still enough oil on the market even to provide for countries like India and China, who do have every right, as the rest of the world, to develop, by the way. And so what then is driving up the price of oil? And of course the answer is speculation. People buying on the spot market is driving up the price of oil considerably. But then of course the question becomes, why is there a great deal of speculation on the oil spot market? Why are speculators buying at such a high price, thinking that the price of oil will go even further? And of course, if you want to find a simple answer in 2 words, which usually you can't find a simple answer in 2 words, but if one were to look at the present world situation and put a simple answer in 2 words, those 2 words would be Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Now this is what the speculators are speculating on. As you know, Iran's nuclear program is developing at a rapid pace, and there could be the possibility within the next year Iran will have all the materials necessary to produce a nuclear weapon. Now this situation with Iran has been further exacerbated by the fact that Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is the president of Iran. Now Mahmoud Ahmadinejad belongs to a specific sect of Shia Islam called the Twelvers. Now when Iran first became a theocratic state back in 1979, even a hardcore Muslim fanatic like the Ayatollah Khomeini did not think much of the Twelvers. As far as he was concerned, the Twelvers were even more fanatical than he, the Ayatollah Khomeini, was. Of course, the Ayatollah Khomeini has kicked the bucket back in 1989, and today we now see a Twelver president as the president of Iran. Now what exactly do the Twelvers sect within Shia Islam believe? Well, the Twelvers believe that the Imam Mahdi, who is sort of a messianic figure within Islam, that the Imam Mahdi is the 12th Imam, who was, in other words, 12th in the line of descent from Muhammad and Fatima, and that he was born in the year 868 AD, on the Western calendar, of course, and that as a young child, according to the Twelvers, he was then hidden by God down a well. In a process, this hiding was called occultation, and they believe that at some point in time the Imam Mahdi, the 12th Imam, will come rising out of this well and convert the world to Islam by the sword, of course. Now, the Twelver teaching differs from the rest of Shia Islam in that Shia Islam believes that the world will be in a very orderly state, that there won't be much chaos in the world, that when the 12th Imam arrives, it will be in basically an environment of peace and prosperity. But this isn't the way the Twelvers believe it. The Twelvers believe that the world must be engulfed in chaos and death and destruction in order for the Imam Mahdi to arrive. Now, for people in the Western world, this sort of conflict within Shia Islam could be regarded by looking at certain Pentecostal sects in American Christianity. Now, most Pentecostal sects, like the evangelicals, believe that Christ will return after the Antichrist has taken power. Now, if you read anything about the Antichrist system is, of course, a system of total control. And therefore, since the Antichrist system is a system of total control, there wouldn't presumably be much anarchy and chaos going on in the world. However, there are certain Pentecostal sects who believe that in order for Christ to come, there must be anarchy and chaos and death and bloodshed in the world, and that only when the anarchy and death and bloodshed is in the world, then will Christ come. Well, if you actually read the Bible properly, death and anarchy and bloodshed and chaos, the person who arrives on the scene is the Antichrist first. So I guess presumably these Pentecostal sects who believe that will be worshiping the Antichrist as Christ. So you could say the same holds for the Twelver sect within Shia Islam. Now, of course, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has several times called for the destruction of the state of Israel, and the country, of course, is only a year from developing nuclear weapons. So this means that Israel will sometime in the next year be bombing those Iranian nuclear facilities. That is, if George W. Bush doesn't do it first. But whoever does it, whether it's George W. Bush or the State of Israel, there will, of course, be major retaliation. And, of course, one thing Iran will be doing will be cutting off its supply of oil. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez has formed an alliance with President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, so he will be cutting off his oil supply should Iran be attacked. So, of course, the price of oil will just be astronomical, anywhere maybe from $400 to $600 a barrel. So it's because of this most likely possibility that speculators are buying on the oil on the spot market, which is currently driving up the price of oil, in the belief that oil will probably reach $400 to $600 a barrel a year from now, which is probably true because in all likelihood with this nutcase who's the president of Iran, who believes that his Messiah will only return if there's chaos and anarchy and death and bloodshed, well, Israel and the U.S. aren't going to wait around for that to happen. And so in the meantime, as a result of this major geopolitical situation, this will drive up the price of oil, and currently oil spot money speculators are speculating that this is so this is currently driving up the price of oil.